Anybody that's used or seen or heard about insights and colour profiles, this is something that's newly been introduced into raw selection with work that we've been doing with Seventh Wave. Here's me discussing the use of these, how to use them better, but also how not to fall into the trap of this is who I am red, I am blue, I am green, I am yellow. There's an explanation of what these colours means and how they are, so you'll be able to work out which one you are for yourself. But it's about how you utilise them and put them into practice and avoid the trap which most people fall in of I'm red and therefore I communicate this way and this is who I am. You are all colour profiles, you're just predominantly one or the other, and it's how do you use them at the best times to win new business, to communicate internally, and all sorts of different things. Right, so continuing on from the training that we're getting from Seventh Wave, guys, I don't want to just rely on those guys. What I want to do is to fire into it and utilise different elements. So one of the elements that they discussed is the colour profiles, which is insights. I'm in a fortunate position where I've actually done insights. There is somewhere in this office my profiles and where we're at. There's two benefits realistically to this. So you've got your red, yellow, green, blue, which makes things really, really simple. Probably oversimplifies things a little bit, but everyone sits as a predominant colour, and you've got two profiles which you sit in. There's your conscious profile and then your unconscious profile. So when you're at work, you'll be a different profile potentially than when you're at home. Okay, so when I'm at work, my blue gets dialed up and I've got high blue. When I'm at home, there's none of that. So if you told Luce that I'm high blue, super structured, super organised, she's like, how the f*** do you organise anything? Because when you come home, you're not organised at all, right? Everybody gets thrown into a corner, there's none of that. So there's a predominant colour that people focus on. One thing that annoys me about the insights profile is that you are not the colour profile that you are given as a predominance. Okay? You are every single colour profile, right? It's just which one sits more predominantly, and if you're tired, angry, in a situation, you will go back to that profile, okay? And you have to train yourself to not be that person, right? You spoke to people, for me, in management, they would all go previously, really high red, really direct communication, jump straight in with 2 feet. This is the situation. This is the issue. There you go. Okay? Right? And now for me, it's training myself and continually doing that is to go and fact find first, because there's plenty of times where I've jumped in with 2 feet, got completely wrong perspective, and then I had to backtrack the shit out of it. Right? I'm sure you guys have all got experiences of that with me as well. But that used to be every single communication that I had with everyone. And therefore you work on how do I find the information that I need? Okay? How do I get the detail? How do I get the info? How do I get that? Right? Yeah, it probably won't come as a surprise to anyone. My lowest colour profile is green, which is the show me you care element, which is the personal element, which is the more, if you want, emotional side, which is the more, what did you do at the weekend? Right? That for me is really difficult. Okay, so my green is it exists. Everyone's got a softer side. Everyone's got a scenario where that green has to come out, and you have to show empathy and show care, whether you're a weakness or someone else's. But it's just where your strongest colour profiles are. So when we talk about the box that you've just been put in by Steve on Seventh Wave, okay, you are all of those profiles. You are just better at some than you are at others. But when you say better at something, typically there is a negative connotation with everything and a positive connotation with everything. If you're going through hell and you need a shoulder to cry on, people ain't running at me, right? That isn't a good thing, that is a bad thing, right? If you need a pick-me-up and you need a positive person, you'll probably run to Cosmos because he'll probably give you that. And he'll give you his high yellow because that's where he naturally sits. Happy clappy, all those noises he makes, my guy and all that kind of stuff. And that's the role that an individual plays a high yellow, okay? Now, if you want detailed structure, here's a plan, here's a process, here's a system, in work, you'd come to me. Outside of work, you fucking wouldn't, right? But in work, you would come to me and go, I need help with this process. I need help with setting a structure so I can run with that structure and go with it. Okay, so every insight colour has a different perspective and a different time to approach and different time to leverage. And you can leverage that time within you and without you. So typically, recruiters that are red-blue tend to bill faster than recruiters that are yellow-green on a typical basis. Okay? Now, everybody in recruitment wants to be red-blue, and that's predominantly where the world sits, because it's that ability to be able to have really quick, direct conversations and discussions, and then being able to get the detailed information with it, whereas yellows don't tend to get the level of detail that's needed. They'll need to scale up on the blue side, and greens tend to focus too much on the emotional side and the care side, and not getting into the actual detail of what needs to be done. Okay? So, then on the flip side, when it comes to management, you won't be surprised to see that if yellows are very social, very communicate, very discussion focused, they make obviously good leaders from inspiration and leadership and inspiring people to make change. And then the green side, obviously the care side is obviously an important element. But as a manager and a leader, it's great until somebody needs detailed process to get themselves out there, and they need direct communication and accountability to be able to run with it, which is where the red side comes in. So it's not okay, well, I'm a green profile, so I'm never make a good recruiter. No, you just leverage what you're good at to be able to engage in it. It might be that as a green person, typically, what profession do you think green would sit in within your client base? HR. So if you're green and they're green, you might be able to engage with them better, because you might not have to turn the fake shit I have to do when I deal with HR in order to engage with them. And I'm talking about certain HR, not all HR professionals are obviously the same. Some of them are blue, some of them are red, some of them are green, some of them are yellow, but typically you will see that. Typically within leaders, within organisations, you will see red and you will see blue. Guess what? Where would you typically see a blue profile in your client base? Finance. Why? Because they spend all the time in spreadsheets, numbers, information. You know, Andy, my accountant, is all about the blue. All about the blue. Blue, all the way through. Okay? So sometimes your personality defines where you go into your role. If you go into a hospital, you're going to have a shit ton of people that are green that are nurses, right? Because they're about caring, they're about supporting, they're about being there for somebody else, right? And then your leadership in your hospitals, your top-end consultants, they're either probably blue or red. You know, when I went to see, I can't remember, it was an oncologist or something for Lucy had a child, we went in, she saw a really blue person, and it scared the shit out of her, and then the second meeting she had was another oncologist, I think it's oncologist, I can't remember what it is, and then we saw a yellow person, and he was really inspiring, and he was like, this is such an exciting time for you guys, make sure you do this, this, and this, and it was just like, this came out of this, God, I was terrified on that meeting with that person, because she gave me all the facts and figures, and then he gave the facts and figures, which he read out, but he was like, this could happen, but this only happens when that happens, and you're not going through that, you're going through this. And it was like, and he was really yellow, really inspirational, really chatty, and it put a mind at ease. So sometimes being that different person and dialing up those colour profiles allows you to win that business and allows you to get engaged and be in rapport with your prospect, with your client. Okay? The reason why, if you look at the business that we have that I've won, they're all very high red, be brief, be bright, be gone. Can we get a little more information on this client? Probably not. Right? If we think about Cecile, high red, just tell me as it is, off. Right? I've no idea what Cecile's kids do. I've no idea. I know she has kids, but I only found out because a candidate told me. Right? And there's all sorts of different bits. We've never spoken about anything personal life. She skis. But that's only because I was trying to reach out to her strong from skiing. Right? So, doesn't mean that she doesn't have that level, and she's obviously in HR, but doesn't mean she doesn't have that, a yellow, green, and a blue side. It just means that her predominant communication is red. Okay? So you're able to use this in two ways. You're able to use this with internal communication. Okay? So if you need green care, or you've had a bit of a bad time of it and you haven't got X, Y, and Z, it might be you lean on somebody with a green profile, which I think is Mo and Alex. So if you want somebody who's going to listen to you and go through it, leverage that. Okay? it might be that if you need a pick-me-up and you need a bit of inspiration, you feel a bit down in the dumps, you go and sit next to Cosmos and rub his head for a little bit and then run away and come out inspired and feeling better, okay? If you need blue and structure, if you need, I need probably a good talking to and a good bit of direct feedback and a bit of, right, I need to be doing this, this, and this, you go to somebody like Jack to get that. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's just going to give you it as you want it, as you see it. So that's the levels of how you can use both internally in the business, but also externally with your prospects and beginning to identify which one of these are they. If they're asking you an absolute ton of questions about your process and going into detail, which one would they be? If they're really brief with the information that they're sharing, and it's all a bit, this, really direct communication, which would it be?
Right.
If you can't get a head and a tail of what you actually experience or require is, right, and there's little to no information, but they're bloody excited on the call and they're really happy to speak to you, who would it be?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and if they talk a lot about their pain, problems, issues, and keep referring back to the more so what's hurt them about this person leaving, or what's hurt them about this person needed, or they show a lot about the emotional side of the process, it's our remaining colour of green. So you're able to identify different people and communicate with them on that way. Any questions on that?